One, hey, two, hey, one, hey, two, hey, three, hey, four, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Everybody get up. Ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Everybody get up.
This out. We did not plan this. We did not plan this.
I love it.
Oh my God. So
what did yours say?
mine says love.
Aww.
What's yours say?
You are my sunshine.
Aww. so cool. So
I
cool.
love it.
We're getting ready for the spring.
Yes.
We both got on our platform sandals.
That's
We didn't plan that either. Welcome, family, to the Dark Side family. I'm LaDios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion.
All right, and what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about scheduling and how taxing it can be when you're an actor from the dark side.
But before we get started, please like, share, subscribe.
Yes, and comment. We love to hear from you.
Yes,
absolutely.
we do.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you so
yes,
much for sliding through.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, scheduling and oh my gosh. So I know my calendar is my Bible.
Yes.
Like I can't do anything without consulting my Bible and making sure that I'm not already overbooked because that's a big part of our job, right?
Yeah, that was in our last
episode.
episode about, trying to do, keep your commitments and dedication. So yes, definitely. I live by my calendar. Like I put meetings that I'll say, like I have an appointment with my son to go to a vegan thing. I'm like, on my calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna film a video audition on my calendar. I need to go to the dentist on my calendar. Because
Hey, did you get that invite I sent you for that play?
I did.
Okay,
I
good.
did.
Because it's
Thank
now
you.
on her calendar.
It's on my calendar. You are too much. Yes. So you are in. You are officially in. Yes.
Good. Yeah,
For
because
sure,
I was sitting in my bedroom like that's not on my calendar. Holy cannoli! Like we might not be able to go to the show, and so it's huge. It's absolutely huge. I know I've gotten into the practice of always putting people on speakerphone before I hey, can you do this date? And I'm like, well, every time I say yes, I have something in my calendar. So hold on and let me double check because that's just the way that it is.
Right. And just scheduling and taxing because it's again we're back to that work-life balance. Like you got to give a little time to the children, you got to give a little time to the spouse or whomever. You got to cook, you got to take care of your house, but then you still got to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And then it starts to have that comparing your personal with your professional life and how do you balance that out?
Absolutely. And I mean, it goes into everything, right? From our self-care and doctor's appointments to professional development, right? And I think that's probably just as key of a component to your career. I don't know one actor that doesn't hone their craft in some way, at least occasionally. So, taking that time out and blocking time on your calendar so that you are taking classes, that you are finding time for professional development and those kind of things. Don't you feel the same?
Yeah. If I'm not constantly learning something, whether it's reading a book or looking at something that might be a workshop, a free workshop, or even some additional coaching, then I'm feeling like I'm not really giving 100% to my craft. And that's just a part of the business. Like you should always be constantly growing. There's no excuse. So some people are like, I can't afford a coach. There's free coaches all over.
Sure are.
I mean, you got YouTube. There's so much you can do. So that's not an excuse.
Yeah,
There's
and
so much
again,
information.
Yeah, and it's just again, this episode's going to tie so much into our previous episode.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch it, that one was on commitments and dedication.
Yeah.
So I think these two are great to piggyback on, especially if you're in our industry, because again, these two go hand in hand. And if you are really dedicated to your craft, if you are really committed, you're going to be blocking out time for yourself, for for your career, for honing your craft, all of those things, because they just make you a better actor and, in my opinion, a better person.
Right.
Have you had any mishaps or, how do I say, anyways, have you ever had any issues maybe double booking yourself?
Well, yes. We did talk about that before.
A little bit.
But right now I try not to happen. It's not so much me double booking as it is if something gets thrown off the path.
Okay.
Like, you know, like I'm so like, it's got to be this way, and then there's a shift. And then you have to kind of organize that shift. Okay, well, we're not filming on this day. It's been booked a week now because now there was a rainstorm or there was a snowstorm and we can't film, or it was raining and we need to be outside. So now we have to push the shoot out for 2 weeks, and then that's how you can have an overbook, a double book, because you're like, oh, in 2 weeks I'm going to be over here filming for this, or I might be rehearsing for the stage, you know? And those things do happen, and they can be very stressful and taxing. So you have to find ways to just be calm, to balance it out, come with a solution, a win-win solution. What would be some of the things that you do, you know, like when you throw a monkey in the wrench? I think that's what I say.
Right.
I don't know if that's right. I tried to find the right monkey in the wrench. I still can't.
Everything up.
I know. But not sunshine and love, not sunshine and love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, it comes down to sometimes you will have those late nights and you will kind of stress yourself and have to overcompensate when those things go wrong that are out of your control, but you're still going to show up and you're still going to give it your all and you're still going to make it work. You know, like that is kind of what we do as actors, isn't it? Like, you know, that's part of who you have to be if you're going to come into this, because again, you have so many people relying on you in terms of production and all of that. You know, if you got cast, they wanted you, and you know, so there are times when you just have to dig deep and make it work, whether that's spending half your night memorizing lines or, you know, calling other people to help pick people up and things like that, you know, like, there's a lot of juggling that I think goes along with this career.
It does. And the, you know, some people will be like, well, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't need any more classes or personal development, but you can always learn more. Like for me, my area of that I need more growth on is like commercials. Auditioning for commercials. So I just took, I think it was like a $200 workshop with an acting coach in LA. Yeah. And it was, you know, by webisodes, but I learned so much in that 4 hours. And just that little bit of money that I put up front just to see how I can better sharpen my skills when auditioning for commercials.
Huge.
Professional development is key. That you shouldn't get so comfortable that you're constantly thinking that you don't need any more help or you don't need any more coaching. I mean, even veterans have coaches. Yeah. You know, and even though, it could be taxing, like, oh, here goes more money I got to put in. Oh, here goes more time. You know, I get it, but the rewards are enormous.
Definitely.
You know, they're enormous. So,
definitely,
yeah. That's just something you want to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to let your ego get too like so carried away that, you know, oh, I know it all. There's nothing more that I can learn. You know, that's really being in a rut, if you ask me. And again, sometimes techniques change and what people are looking for changes and things like that. So it is really smart, and it behooves you to hone your craft, get into some professional development, you know, and you know where you're weak. You know where you need help. You know where you struggle. So whether it's getting into character, whether it's, you know, like for me, I know my weak spot is drama. So I like to look for scene studies where I can dive deep into really dramatic heart-wrenching roles, because I can do comedy, I can do lighthearted. So how can I hone my craft to help me express that side of myself that doesn't come so easily? So, you know, really knowing yourself and knowing where you stumble, where you're strong, those are all really great things that you should have, you know, right?
Yeah, and just back-to-back auditionings, that could be super overwhelming with scheduling taxing, because you need a reader, you need somebody to videotape it, you need someone to help you, you know, like, you know, to prepare and rehearse. And if you have 3 or 4 scripts,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
you know, that can be a little overwhelming, but it's all a part of the business.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when you come into whatever your skills of organizations of trying to get it done. Also, for me, I videotape my friends. And I have a friend who's in Atlanta and be like, can you read for me so I can audition for this video? So we're doing it like long distance on the phone.
That's
and,
great.
you know, there's a 2-hour difference. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. But whereas you already had dinner, I still need to eat. You know what I mean? But his dedication is so much. So when it's like 9 o'clock here, it's 11 o'clock there, but he still wants to do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So, I mean, it's just how much you're willing to put in to get back out. It's your personal investment for yourself. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, the schedules could be off, especially when you have friends on different time zones. That could be, you know, challenging. You know, when your friends are like, yo, you know, like I have my friend Kendrick who's like, okay, what's your schedule like today? And I might be like super busy all the way to like 3, and he was like, well, I gotta be to work at 4. So he has to get like something in between 3 and 4,
Yeah.
or, you know, 2 and 3 or something. Anyway, we would have to shift our schedule around because I want to support him and he supports me to get it in. You know what I'm saying? And it could take up a lot of your day. Like the other day we literally did 3 hours of just filming video auditions with each other for 3 hours. 3 hours. And after that, you're like, I just had a full work day of just video auditions. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot in this business, and it's just a matter of how much you want it, how dedicated you are, and just organizing your life around it, you know?
Yeah, and I think it does behoove you to, like, maybe if organization isn't your strong suit, start looking into, you know, like your Franklin Covey's, your, you know, your daily planner kind of things, because there are so many resources out there online, you know, your Google calendars, all of these things that'll kind of sync up with everything else and make your life a lot easier. Definitely look into that. You know, organization isn't my strongest suit, but I've definitely taken the time to figure out what works for me, and, you know, and I'm still figuring it out in terms of making sure that I'm doing what my best practice is, because my best practice may not have been discovered yet, but I have a practice that works. So, and everything's a work in progress, at least.
Of course it is. So I know you mentioned like for professional development, like mine's is also comedy. Comedy is like my week. Hers strong, and mine's drama, and hers, that's her.
We're the yin yang twins.
Yeah, we're totally. You know, so this is like perfect. But like, what would be a role for you that you would find most challenging? That would be drama that you would just have to go deep. That you would like. Why? For most actors, comedy is a challenge.
Yeah.
Comedic timing is a big thing.
Yeah.
But why is drama for you a little bit more challenging, and how taxing could it be for you?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question, LaDios. This is one of my favorite, like Confucius says of all time, is that the rabbit doesn't know the rabbit can't tell you what it looks like while it's running through the forest. It can only tell you what the forest looks like while it runs through it, right? So I don't know what it is that I give off, but I know I have an element of goofy that comes off, and sometimes when I'm trying to be serious, it's still so that's just, so I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, sometimes people just don't take me seriously when I'm trying to be serious in terms of like dramatic kind of things, and that might be my own perception,
right?
Because again, I don't get to see it. Now, we were in Suicide Lies. I felt like that was a pretty dramatic role, and I don't think I failed by any means, you know, but it's definitely not my bailiwick. It's definitely not like, oh, that's my comfort zone. Part of it for me, I think, comes from having a past that's heavy with trauma, that I spent a good deal of my life putting on this show of I'm fine, nothing gets to me, which is a lot of my comedy, is, you know, like make people laugh, don't, you know, so you get so good at that over so much time in your life that now to be vulnerable, now to go into those deep spaces feels icky and uncomfortable. But it's not that it's not there, it's just not the it's not my comfort zone. It's not, that's not where I'm happy. That's not where I feel good.
Yeah.
I'd rather make people laugh and be silly and you know, but there's plenty of depth there.
Yeah, it's and I find that interesting because I know we've been vulnerable with each other behind scenes and stuff. So I just you know, for me, I don't really I'll do goofy stuff with my children. And my daughter will be like, "You're a goofball, you're a nerd, you're a weirdo," and it'll be funny, and I'll like have everybody. But I don't really think I'm naturally funny. So if I have to try something funny, I'm like, "Ooh, this is like so forced." Yeah. But I can go through layers and uncover stuff, and you know, and that's not so taxing. But when it comes to comedy, it's like I gotta really figure that part out.
Yeah.
You know, I think dramedy will be, you know, dramedy.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing with comedy, I think it's like you really got to dedicate yourself to it. So if you're stupid, you got to be really stupid, like, you know, and like drop it all. And it does take, it's a hell of a commitment, but it's great when it comes off grid. You know, it's
and you know, getting out of your comfort zone can also be very taxing, you know, when when you haven't had the training or the professional development or the coaching to get that, but you don't want to be, at least you want to try to avoid being stereotyped into one way.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So that you know, taking those personal development classes or learning from others or getting out of your comfort zone is going to be very helpful.
Yeah.
Because I personally want to book a major commercial so you can have some residual income coming in.
Well, see, and that's like the like one of the roles that I'd love to do and that I don't think I'd ever get cast in is like, let's say, what is the show right now? It's 911 and Angela Bassett is like the cop, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to be that tough cop, you know, and I'm like, they're never gonna, that's funny. So that kind of, you know, like people just don't take me. I don't take myself seriously, so how can I expect anyone else to?
I can see you as a detective, lawyer. I can see you in a serious role, but you know.
Thank you. Yes.
But I think you would do a little twist and it would make it comedic. It would play well.
Yeah.
It would play well.
Yeah.
So you know, there's just so many things and avenues to, you know, trying to balance your life with scheduling to get the best that you can as an actor, to be the best that you can as an actor. Again, there were some of the tools that you mentioned, like Google Calendar, Asana.
Sure.
There's Slack. Slack is a helpful tool as well. I'm new to that one, but that one works. But there's just a ton of different areas to get you balanced, and you know, even doing your auditioning, you probably start with the most shortest one, like the shortest memorization, instead of trying to get those lengthy ones in first.
That's great.
You know, so you can feel accomplished. Okay, I got that one down. You know,
that's a great technique.
Or breaking down if there's like 4 scenes and and they're lengthy scenes, just do the first scene, come back, memorize the second scene. You know. But it's all about organization.
Yeah,
you know?
and again, finding what's going to work for you, because, you know, again, it goes back to a couple of episodes we were talking about memorization techniques, right? And that, you know, like, depending on what type of learner you are, depending on, you know, what really works, like having my calendar on my phone, that is absolutely what works for me. Writing it down somewhere, that might as well be a scrap piece of paper in the trash. Like, that does nothing. But having it on my electronic device that I always have with me, like, that's what, like, works, right? But, you know, you have to figure those things out.
Do you sleep with your electronic device?
I actually do, because I don't have a partner, so it has the second pillow. And it's like, good night. And then I know I'm going to wake up good, because I have my alarm right there. So it's like,
wait a minute, I thought you were like kind of treading the waters a little bit.
I'm still sleeping alone.
Oh, okay. Well, she's available. She just told you she's available
to sleep alone.
Oh my God.
My phone would get jealous. You can't have that.
Oh, no. Hey, you guys can put it in the middle. You could be like a threesome or something.
I don't know if I'm comfortable. I don't like sharing.
Me and you both. Right. Yeah, I think we're going to a different conversation here. Totally. Anyway, no, but some of the things, you know, we talk about your professional, balancing out your professional and your personal life. How do you go out on dates or anything? Like, you know, and then, dealing with the fact that, hey, you got to say, I'm an actor. Or do you even
Right,
tell them?
right.
Or do you even
No,
tell them that?
I do absolutely, because there are a lot of people that, God, my last relationship, acting basically destroyed it. So, at the end of the day, I'm very much like, hey, this is who I am, and, I have a very busy life and schedule, and if you can fit in, great. If not, then bye-bye, and that might be why I'm still sleeping by my cell phone at night. Anyway, but again, it's like those kind of things you just have to schedule and be cognizant of that, like, oh, okay, I actually have Saturday night free. Oh, I can do this and those kind of things, but,
You know how it is when we have theater. There is no time.
Oh, yeah.
Like honestly, I'm not going to lie. When theater hits, I'm sorry.
Wait.
Everybody's kind of neglected. Like, not even neglected, you're just kind of, it's minimal.
I always say tech week, my life is fucking hell.
Tech
week,
tech
forget
week,
about it.
rehearsal week.
Forget about it.
We're not scheduling anything.
Mm-mm.
It's all about the craft at that point, because you just, it's late nights. So especially if you have a full-time job and you get off at 4 and then you're like on rehearsal from 5 to 11. And
it's
you gotta
basically
come
what?
home.
Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, you might be doing rehearsal for at least 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then once production comes, then you at least have every weekend that's reserved, if not a couple of extra days plus the weekend. So that is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So how would you balance that out with your personal life?
I'm figuring that one out. Just kidding. I take it days by days, that's all,
That's
and
so
like,
fair.
that's all that you can do, Hopefully someone will come along that doesn't demand so much and is cognizant of my schedule and congratulates it versus poo-poos it, So,
Poo-poos it.
exactly.
Poo-poos
So,
it.
poo-poo. What's that? But it's not a big concern. Everything falls into place when it's supposed to, so I don't worry about that.
Yeah, it gets super busy. I feel a little guilty sometimes when, because Mr. King is like, okay, I'm cool. And I started being like, are you available? Do you I don't want to take it for granted. I don't want to take anything for granted, because, you want to make sure that they are honoring their space as well. And their time, is not just being monopolized by your time. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm glad he's super flexible, but I do try to utilize other friends and other avenues when it comes to this craft. Just to give it a balance, because you don't want to take anybody. And then
scheduling in those one-on-one times, and making sure that you have
like
special
date night.
Exactly.
I love date night.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal. Again, as long as you're aware of my conflicts, you'll work around them.
Yeah.
So,
You said you'll work around it. You'll work around it. Did you hear that? You'll work around it. Not I work around it. But in this business, scheduling and it could just be super taxing, and memorizations and just balancing out all of that could be a lot. But it's all a part of the biz, right?
That's right. You take it as it comes, one day at a time, and just keep track of what you got to keep track of, right? That's what we do, right? So
keep track of what you got to keep track of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on. Well, that's all I got for today. What you got?
That's it. Just keep coming through and subscribing and liking and commenting.
Yes.
We love you all for your continued support.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dark Side family, for sliding through. Remember to get up and get out and do something for yourself. I'm LaDios Muhammad, actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n, an actor with passion.
And we are actors from the dark side.